Hey guys, Jason's Dragonbane here, and the Colorado Regionals were yesterday, and as you can tell, I did pretty darn good. I actually ended up taking third with my Transmodify Fire Fist. I was really happy. The deck couldn't have fared any better than what it absolutely did. So let's go right into the deck profile. So first up, one Spirit. Spirit is the main tuner of the deck. He gets the combos going. I really wish this card would come back to more than one, but I know why it can't. Triple Leopard. Leopard is the combo starter. You really want to see this guy in your opening hand just to get your plays going. Double Rooster. Rooster helps you get going really fast. He sets up your plays, and then being able to summon him multiple ways just really helps him keep the consistency of the deck going. I don't like him at more than 3 because I find he just gets a little too cloggy. So, one Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Raven. Raven is here to be summoned off of Horse Prince to protect my fire formations, and then he also really works well with Transmodify combos. 2 Dragons. Dragon is the level 4 XZ base monster. He sets back row to help protect your monsters, and then he sets up the ring 4 plays very well. 3 Bear. Bear is the control aspect of the deck. Everyone knows what Bear does. 1 Gorilla. I'm not sure if I really want more than 1 Gorilla. There were times I really could have used more than one, but at the same time, there were times that I really didn't need him at all. So I'm still iffy on where I really want Gorilla right now. 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Swallow. Swallow was by far one of the better cards to help in certain matchups, and then in other matchups he just wasn't as good, so he's able to just side him out. His last line of text, preventing them from targeting my monsters, was a really big help in certain matchups. Wolfbark, the rank 4 engine. Double Effect Veiler stops the effects. This deck really has to keep board presence, so it helps stop Exciting Knight and keeps 101 from taking our monsters. Spell lineup, we have triple Tenki. Tenki is the Searcher. Double Tensu, really good card. I don't like it at more than 2 because I find it gets a little too cloggy. I want to see Tenki more often than I see this card. Double Fire Formation Gyoko helps lock down the back row, helps me keep my plays going and make sure I get my plays off. Cloud Duality, I like this better than Upstart because this gives me options on what to grab, where Upstart is just I get whatever I get. This lets me look at the top options, so it was really good. Magic Planner, this turns all my continuous trap cards into a draw 2, so it really helps because most of the trap lineup in just the main board and sideboard are continuous traps. Double Misty helps get rid of the back row. The reason I don't really run the third one in main board is I have this, Double Gyoko, and a Gorilla. That's 5 ways to get rid of back row. So I have enough back row destruction without needing the third Misty main board. Double Transmodify. Transmodify helped out a bunch yesterday. There were times where people were Effect Veiling or Fiendish Chaining my 3-axis combos, and then I was able to just Transmodify and go into 4-axis combos. And I was able to get Swallow on board once through Transmodify, and it really actually stole the game for me. Trap lineup, Double Tensin, 1000 extra attack bonus, really easily able to get this out of the deck anytime you want it. Double Tenkin, if your opponent doesn't know this card is there, they will waste resources and you can protect your monster. The only problem I had really with this card all day was in my final match where it got wiretapped 3 times, and I was like, I just couldn't keep board presence on that match, but I'll go into that later. So triple Fiendish Chain, stops attacks, stops the effects. This deck really does have to commit to the board, so Fiendish Chain really helps keep your monsters there. And then double Mirror Force. Mirror Force was actually the MVP trap of the day. This thing stole 3 different games for me, so it by far worked out really well. I'm really glad I played it. The extra deck we're going with double Horse Prince. I never need more than 2 Horse Prince because once he gets on board, he pretty much has done his job. And truly, all you need him to do is get Rooster or somebody out of the grave so you can keep your plays going. Vulcan, I made Vulcan once yesterday, but he still essentially won that game for me because I was able to ruin their setup and continue going after that. Double Tiger King. Everyone knows what Tiger King does. He came in pretty handy yesterday, especially in the Dragon Ruler matchup. Double Cardinal, by far the MVP of the day. He was able to disrupt so many plays from my opponents, and he just recycled everything I needed, so it really worked out well. Lion Emperor helps me recycle my 3-axis and can get my 4-axis stuff that I need back to my hand for later. Bujinji Takagatushi, I don't think I ever made him, but it's very nice to have this option just in case. The Black Ship of Corn, I made this once against a Bujin player. Cowboy, I actually never made Cowboy all day. I never had to steal a game with Cowboy. Abyss Dweller, I never made Abyss Dweller either. 101, I never actually made. Armades, I made once. He actually helped out a little bit, but just didn't. I was already in such a losing situation when I was able to bring him out. So, Crazy Box, it was for skill drain, but I actually never actually got skill drained bad enough to where I needed to go into him. Sideboard, we have one Misty for those certain decks like the Dolces and Girgias where you need a little bit extra back row destruction. Close Force, I did this for Madolches and just in case I saw like Prophecies and Harpies. Rivalry of the Warlord, this was complete Harpy, or not Harpy, Madolche hate. They absolutely hated me seeing me put this card on them. Full House, I did this for Girgias and the Madolches. This is probably coming out of the sideboard. It just didn't do quite as much as I was hoping, but it still helped out a little bit. Lion Prison Mirror, Constellars, Bujins. Prohibition, I cited this in against hats only, and I just really didn't get to see anything. I really wasn't prepared to know how to fight that deck yet. Double Mind Crush put in. This is the MVP of the sideboard. This stole so many games because of people just adding cards to their hand and then me getting rid of it. Then Black Horn of Heaven, very good card again. It helped in a lot of matches like the Bujin and the Dragon Ruler. So we'll go on to my matchups for the day. So my round 1 was against Hunders. Hunders, it was a fun little match. It really didn't do much, but it was a fun duel. We had some good times laughing about it, and I ended up winning in 3. Game 2, I just sort of didn't open up very well. I didn't open up with any of the 3-axis combos, but it was alright. So Game 2, Game 3, I opened up with all this side deck. I opened up Light Imprisoned Mirrors, Black Horns, so he pretty much had nothing he could do after that. Round 2 was against a Madolche player. I believe this was Madolche Hats. So Madolche Hats, I have a very good matchup against Madolches with Rivalry of the Warlords and Full House and Close Force. It still took me 3 games to get the victory, but after it just took me a little bit. Game 3 was actually a really good duel. We were going back and forth for quite a while, and then I finally ended up getting the victory from him. Round 3 was against Dragon Rulers. And it happened to be Skill Drain Dragon Rulers, which I thought was going to be a really tough matchup. But thankfully for me, I was able to get rid of Skill Drain very quickly, and I actually blind MST'd it, which was stupid on my part, but I blind MST'd only because I had a Gyoko for the second backfield. So it was alright, and I ended up pretty much 2-0ing her. She's also got this deck profile, and her channel is Dragons Limited if you guys want to go see that profile as well. Round 4 was another Bujin. This Bujin, or not Bujin, Madolches. This Madolche player was very hard to fight. Game 1 was pretty back and forth, but I ended up winning just because of the 3-axis combos to disrupt his setup and everything. And then Game 2, I just didn't really open up super well. I held him off for quite a while, and then he ended up just Tiara Masuing and doing the usual Madolche stuff to get rid of my setup. But game 3, I opened up with Rivalry of the Warlords and Closed Forest, and 3-axis combo. So I pretty much put an entire board on board and shut him down in one shot. Round 5 was my Bujin matchup. I felt sorry for the guy because he did lose most of his stuff right before the regionals started, but stuff happens. At this point, it was round 5. We were both at table 5, and he was in the top table with no extra deck, or with barely any extra deck and no sideboard. So I was very impressed that he was actually up that far. But game 1 and game 2 were pretty quick. I stole game 1 pretty fast because I did my 3-axis combos and I disrupted his tanky. Game 2, he disrupted my tanky, so I sort of got shut down. But game 3, he had Yamato on board and then summoned Harumi and Arasudo by banishing a turtle. Went into a Suswano, which I Blackhorned of Heaven. Made another Suswano with the Yamato and another Harumi that he made. Put Turtle in the Grave, attacked, and I had Mirror Force. And he was actually really salty about Mirror Force because he was not expecting Mirror Force. He was expecting stuff like DP and Phoenix Chain. So Mirror Force actually stole that game for me. Round 6 was... was actually Sylvan's. This was actually one of my hardest matchups because I really didn't know how to fight Sylvan's very well, but it was a fun duel, and he actually cited in Skill Drain on me game 2 and 3, so game 1 I actually stole. I had to fight through 2 Felgrands to finally get there, but I managed to get through both those Felgrands. Cardinal actually stole that game because he got rid of everything he had. So, and then game 2, he pretty much beat me handily with the Skill Drain because I wasn't drawing Misties or anything, but I was like, okay, let's go to game 3. Unfortunately, he started with Skill Drain again, but it was hurting him just as bad as it was hurting me. And I ended up, he made the Sylvan that has 3200 defense mode, I don't remember its name. But he had that sitting in defense mode, and I was like, how in the world am I going to get over this while I'm under Skill Drain? So I'm praying for a Misty and a Bear at the same time. But thankfully, he used Myrtical Fertilizer to summon Hermitry and then switched them both to attack mode and attacked, and I actually had Mirror Force set. And at this point, he soul charged down to 400 life points, and I was like, all I need is just one monster to end this duel, and I actually drew Leopard of all people. And I was like, oh, this kind of sucks, but I actually had a Tenkin and a Tensu on board, so it was exactly 400 per game, and I felt really bad for the dude losing to Leopard, but stuff happens like that. So, round 7, I am now undefeated going into round 7. I was actually very jittery at this point. A lot of my friends from locals were like, you need to calm down, dude, and I was really trying to be calm, but I was going very jittery into this match. But round 7 was against Geargias. We both pretty much knew exactly what each other was playing. I was pretty sure I was playing Geargias, I just wasn't 100% certain. He knew exactly what I was playing, so game 1, I didn't open up anything but Double Misty and Gyoko and some backfield. So I just set 4 back row and passed. He set 5, and then I double Mistied. I hit Solemn Warning and his Breakthrough skill, and then drew into Leopard and went into the 3-axis combo and shut down the rest of the back row by double Gyokoing 2 more and Gorilla Popping the last one. And he scooped from there, so I was like, wow. I really wish I could have recorded that portion, and actually this entire match, because the match was actually really good. Game 2, he really just, he did Geargia stuff. I couldn't really fight through the setup right away, so I was like, okay, let's go to game 3. I actually ended up getting the 3-axis combos going, and then later in the duel, he had me Macrocosmos, and I had Mind Crush on board, and I had Horse Prince and double Rooster on board. Rooster was 1900 attack at the point, and he had 1 set with Macro on board and 2 face downs, one of which was Gyoko. So I was like, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's armor, but I let Rooster attack anyways, just in case it wasn't. That way Horse Prince could get for more damage, but it turned out to be armor, so he added Arsenal to his hand, and I had Mind Crush, so I Mind Crushed Arsenal, and I actually drew into my second Mind Crush that turn. So I was like, wow. So I knew exactly what was in his hand, and I was going to call the Girgiano that was still in his hand. So I ended up hitting for the 1900 from the Rooster once Horse Prince got rid of the armor. After that, I set the Mind Crush past. He went draw phase. I hit the Girgiano, and he top decked Dark Hole on me, and I was like, oh man, this kind of sucks. So he Dark Holed my 3 monsters, but really had nothing left. And I still had Bear and Dragon in hand at that point. So I went and just summoned Bear, hit the monster, pass turn, and then at this point he's in a really bad situation. And I ended up drawing into another tank. He got another Bear, was hitting for damage, and at one point he had 1 monster set, and I was like, okay, if I could Bear pop this monster, I could just swing for game, and I happened to draw one of the Misties. And I was like, wow, I drew Misty just to get rid of Macro. But so I ended up winning that game, and I was ecstatic at that point, going 7-0 throughout the entire day. And then I was like, okay, no matter what now, I have my invite. I can really just relax during this last match. And my last matchup happened to be against Hats. And unfortunately, I just haven't had time to really play test on DevPro and Dueling Networks, so I wasn't sure what to decide on them, how to really counter the deck. So he pretty handily walked through me. It was no joke. So I'm going to be looking at stuff to sideboard against them and just really how to start countering that deck specifically, because that was the only thing I wasn't really comfortable fighting. But overall, I couldn't have asked the deck to fare any better, coming in 3rd and I truly do think one of the reasons I was able to do so well is no one was expecting Fire Fist that day. The Dragon Ruler person I fought, she even said, I was not expecting Fire Fist to be here at all. I believe I saw 3 other Fire Fists. One was a 3-axis Fire Fist, and the other one was a Trap Tricks Fire Fist. I'm extremely happy that this deck did so well. Please, guys, if you have any questions about this deck, don't be afraid to ask. I'm willing to answer any questions. If you know of any possible sideboard or things for me to do against Hats that really work well, please tell me, because I really want to find a way to play better against that deck, because that was the only deck that I really felt like I played really bad against. But as always, guys, leave a like, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to subscribe. And thank you.